Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others or by fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
See, I'll give you my thoughts about podcasting, especially for this year, 2024. My thoughts about, what is my opinion? Will I be listening to it? Should you listen to it? And specifically, I'll also address not only the business of podcasting, but why me as a person, I've started to lose interest in podcasting, and I'll give you the logical reasons why. So feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below, whether you agree, disagree, and let me know, do you listen to podcasts, and if so, which one? And if you have lost interest, if so, which one? Okay. I think podcasting came into the limelight after Joe Rogan's podcast started to go viral, where he would have, very interesting guests. And true to Joe Rogan's nature, he didn't care a damn about, being politically right, or he would say, fuck you on the podcast. Very famous ones are him with Elon Musk, which was like crazy. He was smoking a joint with Elon Musk. And, there was one guy, black guy, who spoke about the Ku Klux Klan. And yes, there have been some... That was also very nice, huh? And then there have been some really good guests. And for me, Joe Rogan, why I'm a fan of his is because I watch UFC, MMA fighting. So he's a commentator there. And I've been a fan of his for many years because of UFC. And also he's a stand-up comedian, although he's not that funny, but, he's a very accomplished guy. So for him, he had his podcast, which he was doing as a hobby, and I liked his style. Then, but if you actually see, podcasting was actually brought into mainstream by Timothy Ferriss, who is the 4-Hour Work Week, 4-Hour Body, very famous author. Okay, he's the one who made being a digital nomad, he made it cool, he made it a lifestyle. That book, 4-Hour Work Week, work 4 days a week, he coined that term and it became world famous. In fact, his books, 4-Hour Body, how to build a body or become a world-class athlete with only few weeks or months of training. Very insightful books. Okay, so, and he was the one who started this trend long before, nearly 15, 20 years before there was any podcast. He would talk about the particular types of teas, plants. He would even weigh his poop and check before eating, after eating, what. And so he used himself as a guinea pig to experiment with all kinds of substances, nootropics, for the brain and all that. Okay. So from Timothy Ferriss came Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan made it very famous. And it was when Joe Rogan, struck the deal with Spotify for 180 million the first time. Then everyone realized, shit, man, there's a lot of money in this space. Lot of money. And then everyone, all big timers, jumped in. The key people who have jumped in right now, who are kind of relevant. Logan Paul, for those youngsters, he brings in controversial guests. Then you have, obviously, Joe Rogan, Chris Williamson. Then you have Diary of a CEO, very famous. You have Valuetainment, which really went full-fledged into podcasting. He does political podcasting and opinions. And yes, there are Andrew Haberman. So there are many, far and few, many in between. There are millions of podcasters. Okay. Now, when podcasting started to spike up in popularity, I personally was not very keen about podcasting. To be very honest with you, I was like, why should I have some other guest on my channel when people are coming to my channel to hear about me? If I did want to podcast, I'll create a separate channel. But I asked myself immediately, I'll tell you, the first questions were, why should someone come on my podcast? That was the first thing. There was no reason. Second one is, I've had interviews in the past, not when podcasting was there. And one of them is with Ahmed Kemeri or something. I made a mess of that. I was talking non-stop. I was terrible. You're talking of nearly, how many years? 12, 13 years ago, when I used to talk too much and I didn't know what I was talking. I mean, that podcast, when I was so embarrassed. I was like, you fuck, man. Every question I was going on and on and on and on. So, I always ask myself, okay, one is, why should someone big come to my podcast? Second one is, I need to be consistent about it. Third one is the logistics. How do you arrange for that guy, the timing? And then remember this much, if you want a proper podcast, you need to have equipment. You need to have a microphone. Google search Shure microphone, check how much. And for that, you need the cables. By the way, I've already purchased all this. I'm not using it. You need a boom microphone, a stand. You need cables, mixer, amplifier. You need a particular software. You need to have a receiving device. And then you need to edit it properly. And also remember, when you have someone else, when you have another person, you need to warm them up. Many people, they're not in the mood or frame of mind. You might be in a great frame of mind. They might not be. And then what if the interview is not working out? What if they didn't like it? There have been podcasts where people, I want you to search this on YouTube. Christopher Hitchens' brother. I can't get his name here. Hitchens, just type Hitchens walks out of a podcast. Walks out. There is this podcaster who took the interview of Christopher Hitchens. He is a very famous atheist and politician. I was a massive fan. He's a late Christopher Hitchens. He influenced me so much. I admire that guy. His debate, Christopher Hitchens with Stephen Fry and Richard Dawkins, against religion, intelligence square debate. You can search that. To this date is unbelievable. Unbelievable. His ability to debate, second to none. His, Shashi Tharoor is an Indian politician who has an amazing vocabulary. Christopher Hitchens debated Shashi Tharoor also. And Shashi Tharoor was so meek in front of him. His language, diction, his pronunciation, his grammar, his knowledge of history and economics and, unbelievable. Anyway, so that was Christopher Hitchens. So, his brother walked out of an interview. Now, this also can happen. There can be a guest who does not like his podcast and he'll say, no, remove my podcast. Maybe he said something and he wants you to edit that, the effort. Or then they can even be, you're expecting a podcast to be a big hit and it becomes a big flop. There have been Chuck Liddell, he's a UFC fighter. He appeared on an interview completely drunk. He was like, what do you think? You can even search this. Mike Tyson was once interviewed by an Australian or Canadian guy, and he asked him about him being what do you call that? Him being incarcerated for rape. Mike Tyson got so angry that he bought that up. He said, fuck you on national television. And fuck you, I'm going to fuck you and this and that. That host was so embarrassed. So Many things can happen. But now the biggest challenge for a podcast, biggest. Number one is, from where will you get your guests? Okay, let's say you know a couple of famous people. Do you know it takes up to sometimes 2 years? 2 years to keep chasing a guest in a nice way until they say yes. Tim Ferriss, who's world famous, got in touch with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it took him 2 years of correspondence, 2 years, to finally convince him to come for the podcast. Unbelievable, right? So I don't have that kind of patience, man, to chase someone. And then there are some others who are like divas. You have to pay their, travel charges, and some even may ask for money to be on a podcast. And then there are others who want, okay, I'll come on your podcast, but you have to market and sell my brand or promote it. So one is getting a guest and managing all their temperament. The second one is, remember, it takes time, effort, and money to run a podcast. It's a business. It's not fun. Unless you have a lot of money to blow, then you don't have to worry. But last, if not the least, the biggest one, this is the biggest problem of a podcast, is you need to show numbers. Because let's say, for example, there is a podcaster on YouTube. The first thing, what do we do? After you check the podcast, we check how many subscribers. Automatically, 1.2 million. Oh wow, he has many subscribers. And then you'll check the interview. How many views? Like Elon Musk, when Joe Rogan took his interview, I think it has clocked up to 74 million views, or more than 74 million. So imagine if you take an interview of a guest and it comes only 5,000, 10,000. What can you do? And then the second biggest problem is sponsors. This is where it becomes a headache. If you get a sponsor, you have to show them numbers. See, a sponsor gives you money. He's not a dumb fuck. Okay? He will say, I'll give you $1,000. Example. He expects results. If he pays you $1,000, before he will tell you, I want, say, for example, 1 million, what do you call that? Footprints, or 1 million views, example. I want at least 1,000 comments. Okay? And then I'll give my link to my website. You need to ensure me at least we'll throw a number, 500. In some cases, they have, okay, we will not pay you money to sponsor. We'll give away a free keyboard, mouse, headset, or 1 carton of drinks. Or for your subscribers, we'll give 20% off. Okay? Will give you an affiliate link and you'll get a commission. So all those offers are also there. But remember, once you accept money from a sponsor, you have to deliver. If you don't deliver, your relationship with the sponsor will spoil. And then the market is very small. People talk about it. Maybe their PR company or the PR agent will never want to deal with you again. And then another really bad drawback is, there are some sponsors who sell you products which are really bad. Like this game, Shadow Raid of Legends. It was a mobile game. You can search this on YouTube. His name is Mudahar or something. He's a very famous Indian guy, but Canadian, based in Canada. He completely shat all over Legends, Shadow of, Raid, Shadow of this whatever, that game. Because he said it's just a game that sucks your money and is absolute crap. But the funny thing is, I know so many respectable YouTubers who took the money and they read from a script and they were praising this sponsor. Wow, it's an amazing game. I'm at level so and so. You must play this game. Now, why do they say that? They say that because, if you take a sponsor, you can't talk shit about the person. Car was behind me. He didn't even let me know. Slowly he came. Anyway, nice guy. Okay, so you can't badmouth a sponsor. You can't say, hey, their products are average, but you should use it. That is why MKBHD, that is another YouTuber who does tech, and Dave Tooley. MKBHD, if he doesn't believe in your product, he'll not review it. And if someone sends him a product and says, you can review good, bad and ugly, only then he'll do it. Okay? But Dave Tooley, Dave 2D or whatever you call, he will outright tell you, I don't like this laptop. I wouldn't buy it. But just imagine if you're a YouTuber and you say, this product is not good. Maybe that company will blacklist you. There have been YouTubers and YouTube channels which are blacklisted by Apple. They are not allowed to attend even their conference. They're in the banned list. This happens with so many organizations. UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship, where I see Ariel Helwani. Helwani is a very controversial journalist. I don't like him much, but he does a great job. I find him irritating. He is banned from all UFC events. And obviously because media, you can't ban a person. Even if they allow him, they make it so difficult for him, so horrible, that he got discouraged. He even joined ESPN. He was that good. And ESPN, worked with UFC. They were the media partners, which they are now. And he, flexed his muscle. He wanted to interview the fighters and all that. They would put him in one corner and they would make it like bureaucratic red tape. And he finally got fed up. He resigned from ESPN and now he does his own channel. Anyway, I digress. So, sponsorship is a major thing. And you need sponsorship to survive. And now what I've discovered is people like the Diary of CEO, they started selling their own soft drinks, energy drinks. They'll market protein bars, chocolates, which is not bad. Merchandise. I understand that you are trying to be a businessman. But remember this much, you can't mix both. And what do I mean by that? If you want more views for your videos or for your podcast, you have to come out with something shocking, something controversial, something exclusive, like Tucker Carlson and Putin was exclusive. The whole world had to watch it because that was the only outlet they could watch. But if you don't have these factors, why would anyone watch? Let's say, for example, someone takes a podcast of me, example. People might just curious, who is this fucking tattooed guy? I did know one interview I did with the Irish Times. That was the only one I did after refusing for 7 years. People wanted to take my interview or podcast or whatever because, they knew I was slightly loud and brash and had controversial opinions. One actually told me, I want you to be your controversial self and talk about Indians. You can talk. I being a, British, this thing, I can't talk. You talk and just be yourself. And I know what he was trying to imply. He obviously wanted more views, wanted more engagement. Some people told me be controversial. Some people said just be yourself. Some others said, okay, I'll promote you on my channel, but can you please promote me on yours? Some even offered money. Some even ready to fly me down. Here in Thailand, not overseas. In terms of sponsors, I've told you, people were ready to pay me $500, $1,000. The highest was during the cryptocurrency boom. I told you, $100,000. They will pay me, transfer to my account, but I have to read script from script and promote the coin. Just, if you don't believe me, which I know you will not, search the Thai film actors and actresses or influencers who have been jailed in Thailand for promoting a cryptocurrency or coin which turned out to be a scam. how many YouTubers, how many influencers promoted like FTX? FTX paid even $200,000, $500,000 to YouTubers to say, oh, I'm a partner here, or I've purchased. Remember Matt Damon's ad, be bold towards the future or something, because of his movies influence as a spaceman. What happened to all these coins? So, and listen, I know money is great, but I always keep in mind, easy money means easy trouble. And someone who's ready to throw $50,000, $100,000 either is some underworld guy or some fraudster, or man, if he has that much money, he can take my ass up. Come on, this is not a game, And there have even been people who, after they paid the money, if they're not happy with the results, they'll say, give my money back, or you're in deep shit. I didn't want to get into all this. So these dynamics, is what podcasters face. And now what is happening is, you'll see the same guest on 4 or 5 different podcasts. Because what these people have realized, if I want to promote a book, if I want to make my voice heard for free, okay, all I got to do is jump on this podcast and talk about it. And they get free publicity. So that is what is happening. And then we even have, he'll come on this podcast, you will come on his podcast. And now the thing that irritates me is, which seriously is very irritating, is, okay, fine, you have experts. I totally understand. But the solutions and strategies that these guys are offering is so fucking abnormal. You begin to think like, who the fuck even does that? Like, for example, Andrew Huberman's podcast. You'll always see him talk about biohacking your body and, okay. Just listen to any one of his, or even Tim Ferriss. He will tell you, okay, in the morning when I get up at 4 o'clock, I will first drink a herb tea from the chisua, I'm just giving you, chisua leaves, boiled at 20 degrees. And then I wait for 4 minutes for it to cool down, after which I pour the Sikkim salts from the Himalayas. And following that, the Kusa coffee, I take 2 granules and measure it. And then I take vitamin B, but from this brand, which has 46 grams of iodine and 26 grams of beta thalamine, okay? And then I stir it with my left hand and then move it in the right hand motion. And then once it simmers down, I'll put 2 flowers, which are freshly bloomed, and then I'll sip it. And that is for it to increase my testosterone by 4.6%. And then after that, for my food, I will take organic. They complicate it so fucking much. I have bath in cold water at 4 degrees, angled towards the North Star. And when I sleep, the bed has to be at a certain temperature with the heating provided. I mean, what the fuck are you guys even talking here? You seriously think, seriously, so many people, want to sound super intelligent, our Indian guys. Oh, what did you think of this tea, this tablet, that tablet? Why don't you take TRT? Joe Rogan said. But do you know how fucking expensive is TRT? Do you know the process to go towards TRT and the amount of money that you have to spend? It's not like one shot of TRT, your problem solved. You have to keep taking it. And it's not just TRT, you have to do exercise, you have to change your lifestyle. Oh, fucking, they complicate it so much. Oh, this, like the Diary of C. I drink Hume. Huel is 4% of sodium and it does not contain the coffee, additives, and caffeine is at 6% lower. The fuck. One guy will say, oh, I drink coffee and start my day. Another guy will say, if you drink coffee, it will immediately, hey, you dogs, what are you fighting for? Leave. Get out of mine. They're fighting in front of me and they want me to join. See, Giri. Get out of here. Hey. Okay. Action in my camera. Okay. So it's like, what the fuck are you guys talking here? For me, it's very simple. I just I'll just open the sachet of the drip coffee, pour the fucking this thing, drink coffee. I don't want ayahuasca and puska and mususu and pusa and musa and 3 degrees and an angle and that fucking nonsense. Even when I take supplements, I just want to fucking open it, put it in my mouth and not check each and everything. And if that was not stupid enough, what is that? The Diary of CEO. Have you noticed this? In the Diary of CEO, every guest who comes there starts crying. And that's the beginning of the what do you say, podcast. They'll show, they'll show, this is a very powerful moment. I'm going to cry. What fucking drama? You come there to cry or what? Oh, your questions touch me deeply. Yeah, I understand. We all have things, but it looks like you're bloody come there to cry. And then the part that irritates me, man, fuck, I can't stand this, is when they start the video. Diary of CEO is very famous. He's a very rich guy, very famous, okay? Diary of CEO. He'll start his podcast by saying, we just checked that 69% of you who watch this video, 69% of you are not subscribed. Please do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and join our community. And I promise you, I'll do my level best to bring the best content. See, why is he literally begging and pleading? Please, 69%. And why? Because numbers, it's a numbers fucking game. When you go to a sponsor and you want big money, you have to show these numbers. So he's literally begging and pleading. 69% of you are not subscribed to my channel who are watching. Please. See, he has to say, please subscribe. Hit the like button, share. What fuck hole, yeah. It's like, if someone wants to fucking watch, they'll watch. If someone wants, they'll subscribe. Well, I can't stand it, yeah. It's pathetic. After you listen to it a couple of times, like, shut up, man. So one is this begging, please like, please share. And then you have, like I told you, the same guests, they'll be everywhere. And then if that is not enough, if product placement, they will place, like you see Valuetainment, you see all, they'll place the cold drink where you can see they'll place the mug, merchandise. In Valuetainment, he'll position his book, which he wants to sell. So it's become a business. And the more controversial a topic, why do you think this guy, Valuetainment, Patrick Bet-David, why did he go to meet Andrew Tate? Why did that female Candace Owens, political commenter, meet? Because views, numbers. Maybe they don't like the guy, but views and numbers. I fucking can't do all that shit, yeah. I'm not saying that, I'm better than them. I just can't do it. And the biggest one, finally, the moment of truth. The content is, see, if for example you meet, let's say, I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say you meet a famous film actor, very famous. And you want his words of wisdom, how to become a film actor, okay? So if you ask him, how can I become a famous film actor? And it's 1-to-1, and he has only 5-10 minutes, he'll get to the point. But let's say you meet the same guy in a bar, in a pub, and you're drinking and you both are just talking. You think for the next 3 hours he's only going to talk about how to be a film actor? No. He's going to drink and talk about girls and fun and his childhood and all unwanted bullshit, which does not help you at all. Most of these guests, when they talk for 3 hours, what are they doing? As a small child, I was like this. When I grew up like this, I went to school here. How does that fucking help you, man? What? It gives you insight into their lives? Insight into how many people's lives? And simply for 3 fucking hours, When I was small, I did this. When I grew up, I did this. Okay. And then obviously they'll come to what they're good at. So how did you achieve this success? Oh, it was at that moment that I did this, I did that, and voila. And my message is never give up and, semi-motivational. And then the subject matter which they are an expert in, it can be marketing. It can be marketing, it can be sales, it can be whatever. In those 3 hours, the actual topic which they are of an expert in, if you actually summarize it, it's what? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? 15 minutes. And that also, it is not structured, it's an opinion. So what are you going to do with that? In fact, let me ask you, you have listened to so many podcasts, right? Okay? Tell me, what all have you implemented and continued doing to this date? What? For me, maybe I have bath in cold water. Okay? Intermittent fasting. All right? What else? Maybe I purchased a couple of items here and there. Okay, from chia seeds and all that to experiment what is so healthy about it. Or my tech. But this is not after listening to one person. It is by constantly listening, research. But those days, there was hardly any podcast. Today, you have Andrew Huberman here, then Andrew Huberman there, then here, and he will talk. I can challenge you. You listen to Andrew Huberman for maybe 24 hours. Okay? Only Andrew Huberman. I'll challenge you. Open challenge. 24 hours of his content. You will not do even one thing. Open challenge to you, you will not do one thing. Because none of his solutions are normal. All are fucking abnormal. None is, oh, you need to take the green leaves of the chivasca, this thing which is grown only in Brazil, which you can order from this thing, and it biohacks your system with a 2% decline in your testosterone, cortisol levels, and then you mix that with the yellow pigmentation of this flower, which you have to boil in the specific temperature measured for 20 minutes, and then sprinkle of... What the fuck are you? What shit is this? It's like the more abnormal and exotic solution is, the better it is. Nowadays, it's become a fashion trend to say that I'm listening to a podcast. Oh, I listen to podcasts. I started to get fed up. Instead of podcasts, I'll tell you, I listen to book reviews, a summary of them. And if I feel that book review, it's hardly 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. If I feel the summary is good enough, then I might listen to a longer version of the book review. And if I still feel it's worth it, then I listen to key takeaways. And finally, I feel, yes, this is something useful for me. Then I might actually listen to the whole audiobook. Some of the key audiobooks that I've actually listened to is like Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. Okay. But he's become a bit too much with his Bible and Jesus and all that shit. He actually had a talk as to why the Old Testament is real. He's become a nut job, yeah. So, happens, I guess. He found God. And he's okay with the killing of Palestinian people, women and children. And he'll preach about God. So, anyway. So, podcast, this is my opinion. Now, if, people say, but Mr. Loy, before I was listening to music, instead of music, I'm listening to podcasts. Isn't that better? Yeah, fine. It is better than listening to just random music. But the question is, you're listening to a podcast for what? Just to fill your head with words? It's like asking someone to read Wikipedia. So you have listened to Wikipedia. Okay, you got information. But just by information, what does it do to you? I have so many youngsters in my WhatsApp groups. Hey, stop licking my finger, you idiot. Stupid dog. I'm not that kind of a guy. So this, what was I saying? See, you licked and I forgot. Okay. So what I was saying is, see, listening, it's like, I'll give you the best example. It's like a father telling his son, don't smoke, don't drink, don't have sex with prostitutes. And he quotes the holy books. And their son obediently listens every single day. Every single day he listens. Yes, Dad, you're right. Don't smoke. These are the dangers, drawbacks. Don't drink. These are the dangers, drawbacks. Don't have sex, diseases. Okay. Every day listen for 3 hours. But he goes and does the same thing. Any use? That's why I tell people, knowledge is not power, boss. Implementation of knowledge. An idea, people say idea is worth $1 million. Yeah, you don't implement the idea. Idea is in your head. Does what? For me, podcasts have lost its charm. There are just too many. Just too many. And every person has to fill up those 3 hours with some content or question. We even had this guy, Eric, which CoffeeZilla bought up. This guy is a mathematician with a PhD. And he is giving his opinion on masculinity and feminism and dating. What has a PhD in mathematics got to do with that? That means you're just asking random opinions, right? Which don't offer any value. I mean, honestly speaking, if someone talks to me, personal branding, I can only talk to him so much before the person gets bored. Then obviously he has to keep the interest alive. Like, he'll talk on various topics. So, are you ready to spend 3 hours just to listen to random garbage? It's like, in LinkedIn, so many of these people go for these paid seminars to listen to Jack Ma or Warren Buffett, or they will just talk for an interview, $2,000 a ticket. They go there, they listen to the CEO of some big company. He'll sit on a chair, they will talk. They paid money, right? Hey, clap, 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 finish. What did it do? That way, compared to that, you're getting for free, okay. It's not going to change your life, yeah. You're just fooling yourself. Anyway, it's your life, your money. You want to spend. Remember, time is a very important resource. Very important resource. Don't waste time. Seriously, please don't waste time. Do something worthwhile. Something that will bless you. Something that will change and transform your life for the better. That's the only thing I can tell you. But rest, you have to decide, no? Anyway, this is what I wanted to leave you with. So you can decide and tell me if I'm right or wrong, and feel free to disagree. Alright? Good, bad, ugly, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. This is me signing off. You guys take care. Ciao.